Today on ELN Morning.
As Harvey cleanup continues, Category 5 Hurricane Irma moved towards the United States, hitting surrounding islands and directly affecting Elon students.
I woke up today not knowing if I'd have a house or not.
We're tracking its path up the coast.
Elon's organization fair is just one day away. Get to know some new clubs on campus and meet one student working to introduce her club to our community.
And later, senior Korra Abdul is in the studio with a cover of a Beatles favorite. All that and more.
ELN Morning starts right now. Good morning, Elon. Thanks for joining us this Thursday morning, September 7, 2017. I'm Liam Collins.
And I'm Megan Gittleman. We start today with a look at our weather. Caroline Bremen has our Phoenix 5-day forecast and the details of how Hurricane Irma will affect our area over the next week. Caroline?
Thanks, Liam and Megan. Just outside right now, it's in the 50s, so a cool start to the day. It'll reach 75 later on and cool back down tonight. Overall, the weekend is looking pretty good, but the temperatures are still starting to drop overall as we head into the middle of September. The 5-day forecast is up there, so take a look. But what we really need to talk about is Hurricane Irma, which is potentially heading our way and could reach the middle of our area by the next week. It's currently in the Caribbean area today, still at the Category 5 level. Irma is expected to hit Florida this weekend. Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency, and so has North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. He made this decision last night and put into effect this morning. Although it's still too early to predict what it'll look like passing over North Carolina, Cooper wants North Carolina residents to know the danger of Irma. If the storm does make it our way, Irma could be as powerful as a Category 3 storm. Take a look at this picture from the Weather Channel of the path Irma is on right now. So pretty crazy. We have two back-to-back hurricanes.
Yeah, no, it's incredible what's happening in the South now this week with Harvey and now Irma and Jose. Who knows what's going to happen with that? It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Well, the current model shows that the Hurricane Irma could make it up to North Carolina later on this week. And while Irma is still powerful, we can hope by the time it does hit Florida, it slows down a bit, and maybe with the impact we can see here will just be some rain and showers.
And it's devastating the destruction Irma has already caused in the Caribbean. Thanks, Caroline, for the weather update.
Thanks so much, Caroline. Many nations in the Caribbean are actually U.S. territories and have a handful of students on campus who call the islands their home. Elon Jr. Connor Kendall is from St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands and says one of the worst parts was not knowing what's going back on home.
There's 230-mile-per-hour gusts. No matter how well you build a house, it kind of could destroy it. I know my neighbor's house, their roof flew off a couple hours ago. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I woke up today not knowing if I'd have a house or not.
This is one of the most powerful hurricanes to hit the Atlantic with life-threatening conditions, including winds of up to 185 miles per hour. According to the Washington Post, Irma is the size of the state of Ohio, if not even bigger. The hurricane tore through the Caribbean islands, destroying homes and even taking some lives. People in the U.S. Virgin Islands hadn't seen a hurricane of this magnitude since the late 20th century. While the storm was over St. Thomas, Kendall was receiving hourly updates from his mother.
My mom, she ended up calling us when she was in the eye, and that was a couple hours ago, and she still has the entire second half of the storm to go through. It was just just calling to say I love you, in case I go kind of thing.
Irma has reportedly killed 9 people, and today it continues north toward Turks and Caicos. By this evening, Irma could hit the southeastern Bahamas. The projected path toward Elon is still uncertain, but as the possibility looms, Elon is still taking steps to prepare. Vice President for Student Life John Dooley reminds students to register for Elon's emergency alert system, eAlert, and as well as to download the LiveSafe app that will notify students on changes from campus safety. Continue to follow ENET for any storm updates. In case of an emergency, Elon dining halls have been stocked with extra food, and the physical plant has been prepared with generators. Students are advised to keep all electronic devices charged and to locate a flashlight.
Irma is coming off the wake of Hurricane Harvey that hit the Gulf Coast a week ago. The damages from the hurricane have inspired fundraisers across the country, including here on campus where Elon downtown restaurants are doing their part. Tangent, The Root, the Oak House, Pandora's Pies, Smitty's, and the Fat Frog partnered up on Wednesday where they donated 10% of their profits to the Houston Food Bank.
You didn't want to write a check and send it somewhere and not know if it was going to it or not. So we found the Houston Food Bank. We decided that we were going to give all of our proceeds to that to help the people that need the food that's lost it.
If you missed this fundraiser, there are other ways to donate and show your support. More Miles, More Fun Races is hosting a virtual 5K and 10K. It's $5 for the 5K and $10 for the 10K. All proceeds will benefit those impacted by Harvey. This event will take place over 9 days, so you can run when you want as long as you reach your final goal. In addition, the Panhellenic Association is donating proceeds from their joint bake sale to hurricane victims. Treat yourself to a $1 treat in Mosley the rest of this week. And finally, Elon School of Communications is accepting donations for a scholarship founded to help Houston college students continue to pursue their communications major, despite hurricane damages to colleges and students' homes.
And the violence in Charlottesville has died down, but tensions and questions still remain. Tuesday, the Center for the Study of Religion, Culture, and Society and the Council on Civic Engagement held a panel discussion in Whitley. 3 Elon professors and Elon local news alumna Jasmine Turner shared their experiences of being on the grounds during the protests and answered audience questions. The discussion touched on topics such as race, the police force, and how the nation can move forward. For Turner, she believes this conversation must continue.
I said inside that it's really important for us to not get caught up in our own world and think that that is only Charlottesville. We have to discuss this. We have to be open to discussing it, whether we agree or we don't agree. It's happening, so we can't ignore it.
There were students who agreed with Turner and expressed their hopes for a more welcoming and accepting campus climate. ELN was not allowed to record the event because of threats by white nationalists against several panelists, but Dr. Jeffrey Pugh agrees with the decision to remain media-free.
There will be other forums and other times that the situation will be a little bit different, but for this evening and just the closeness of how we are to Charlottesville, I think we were looking more at protection of people.
And for the full story, you can visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
Ever wish you could arrest your teacher for too much homework? Well, in this criminal justice class, you could just ask your classmate. Find out who you want sitting next to you after the break.
Phoenix athletes face some fierce competition this week. I'm Alex Hager, and I'll have the weekend sports coming up.
Here are the things you need to know this week around Elon. Gas prices continue to spike due to Hurricane Harvey's impact. Circle K gas station on the corner of Haggard and Williamson is one of the cheapest in the area at $2.59 as of Wednesday night. Check Gas Buddy for the best deal before filling up your tank. Our own Perry Elagerani is moderating an SGA discussion on mental health tonight at 7:30. The meeting will be held in Mosley 215. If you're looking for ways to save money and stay indoors, Elon's Turner Theater will be showing 3 movies this weekend, starting tonight with the independent film The Big Sick. Wonder Woman will be shown on Saturday, and on Sunday, Gifted. For showtimes, check out Turner Theater on Facebook.
Welcome back. One of Elon's unique qualities is its focus on experiential learning. In one classroom, I found a student whose experience goes beyond the textbook to the streets of Burlington.
Elon's capstone class, Prison Nation, identifies the complexities of our nation's prison system, something that interests police officers.
Here at the police department, we're always looking for other avenues of education and to learn more about the community.
The class has 22 students, and for senior Casey Nelson, this class is giving her a new perspective.
I worked in a criminal justice bureau over the summer, so I thought that was extremely interesting, but the whole internship I was kind of in the courtroom, so I didn't really get to see what went on after defendants were taken out of the courtroom.
Well, this class is a learning experience for students like Nelson. For others, it's already part of the job.
The more educated you are on the impacts to individuals and families when those arrests are made, I think you just better prepare yourself.
You're taken back at first. You're like, whoa, like, did something happen? Like, there's a cop in here. But he, very, very friendly guy. Like, he sat right down and he's just like, all right, like, here to learn.
By attending this class, Long hopes he can bridge the divide between the police force and the community.
We have to be willing to listen to others' experiences and learn from those experiences, be open-minded.
And listening begins in the classroom. Last year, Chief Jeffrey Smythe took this course and suggested it to Long, showing there's always something new to learn.
People talk about the Elon bubble, right? Are the students in an Elon bubble? Well, there is certainly a law enforcement bubble. Our patrol officers go out every day and risk their lives, and so they're constantly concerned about being able to get home to their friends and family. And so that colors the way we think, and it's so important that we kind of cross-pollinate with other folks who think differently and go do things that are with other people outside of police work.
As for what's happening behind those classroom doors, that's for Captain Long to learn. Megan Gittleman, ELN Morning.
The professor for this capstone class is Dr. Prudence Lane. Dr. Lane told her class when officers first started enrolling, she was worried they would intimidate the students. Over time, Dr. Lane saw the students appeared unfazed by having an officer in their class. Now Captain Long and any other future officers come dressed in full uniform.
And don't you worry, Phoenix sports fans. Alex Hager is in the studio with game results and the schedule for the next week. Alex, what can you tell us?
Well, Liam, we've got our eyes on everyone this week. Men's and women's soccer, football, and volleyball. And now that we're a couple weeks into the school year, we've had a chance to see how these teams are shaping up. Let's start with the women's soccer team. The ladies over at Rudd Field are 3-2-1 so far this year after a slew of non-conference games. In their last two, Elon tied Western Carolina 1-1 in double OT and lost to a nationally ranked NC State team 5-0. The Phoenix are going to look to get back on track tonight with a game up in Richmond, Virginia, before coming back home on Sunday to take on High Point. Now, to the men's soccer team. They've only played 3 games this season, winning 2 and tying 1. And in their home opener, they topped Presbyterian College 2-0. Their next time on the field is tomorrow night at Rudd when they'll take on local rival High Point. Elon football is back in action this weekend after a little bit of a rough start in week 1. Coming off of a 47-13 loss at Toledo, the Phoenix will be traveling down to South Carolina this weekend to take on former SoCon opponent Furman University. That game is at 1 p.m. Now, a week from this Saturday, the Phoenix will be coming home to play their first home game this year versus Charleston Southern at Rhodes Stadium. So it is almost officially time for tailgate season to start. And moving on to women's volleyball, they kick off the Phoenix Classic tournament tomorrow night, where 3 teams will be coming to town for 2 days of games in Alumni Gym. You can have 3 opportunities to see the Phoenix this weekend, starting with a game tomorrow night at 7 and then a doubleheader on Saturday with games at 12:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. And with a record of 5-3, the Phoenix are going to be an exciting team to watch this year. So you want to make sure you get out to some of those games. And one more thing for sports tonight. We have an update on Elon cross-country runner Molly Offstein, who was hit by a car while jogging last semester. Yesterday marks 6 months since the accident, and Offstein's mother took to Facebook to share her progress. According to the Post, Offstein is now able to complete short sentences, do simple math, and count by 10s and 100s. Molly has been home for 3 weeks, and her mother says she has remained determined, both cognitively and physically.
Thanks so much, Alex. It's so good to hear that Molly is doing much better than what she was before. Well, if all that talk about sports made you a little hungry, check out this meal that's both healthy and delicious.
Coming up next, we're sitting down with a student on a path to health and happiness.
And a new club lands on campus the same time a national political controversy makes headlines. Welcome back to ELN Morning. Hannah Durbin is a senior recently named an ambassador for the Elon chapter of Project HEAL. Hannah is with us here today. Hannah, thank you so much for being here this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little about your story and about how you became this ambassador for this project.
So I unfortunately suffered from an eating disorder for about 5 years of my life, and it didn't hit hard until my freshman year here at Elon. So I do have an attachment to my story with being at Elon University, which is why I wanted to give it back to this university. So as I said, freshman year is my rock bottom, and now coming back as a senior, it's full circle after I've reached a full recovery. So being able to lead Project HEAL, which is a nationwide organization based on recovery, is a completely eye-opening experience for me. It's something that I never really expected to achieve, but it's something that I'm hoping to instill in our campus, in our university, and especially in our community to just really emphasize that message of full recovery.
And what do you hope that Project HEAL does for this community?
Unfortunately, college campuses, and because this is a town based off of a college campus, is a feeding ground for eating disorders, which unfortunately a lot of us are suffering from it, but we think that it's a norm because that is something that our society has developed into, is just kind of accepting that restriction, overexercise, undereating is normal. So I'm hoping that I can portray a message of balance and happiness, and using that through exercise and food and just excitement and spontaneity, and hoping that the students and also the community members will feed off of my hope and inspiration and just kind of develop that in their own lives.
Yeah, so what has been your most important aspect of this transformation from your freshman year to now being here as a senior?
Actually, receiving treatment for me was huge, and that's something that Project HEAL really encourages, is there is actually a grant fund for people who can't afford treatment on their own. So going to treatment, I was hospitalized my freshman year for the second semester, so that was what turned my life around. On top of that, the support and the support of professors here as well, so that I could finish my academics, but also the love and encouragement from all of my friends around here. So this is a really great community to kind of continue the recovery process. But that treatment was what set me back on the right road. So I'm really hoping to encourage students to take the time off if they need it and seek that treatment if it's what they think will work for them.
Right, well, thank you so much, Hannah, for being here this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So as we're going through today, Hannah, we are so excited for you and your new club. So while Hannah works to get her organization officially on campus, another club is officially on campus. The Latinx Hispanic Union is also getting to work. The club began as the Latin American Student Organization, but transformed into the LHU to incorporate more cultures. Treasurer Kimberly Wilson appreciates the platform this organization offers to some students.
Just knowing that there's a space where we can come and talk openly and without shame about what we're feeling, about our families, our culture, and everything is really valuable for students that identify as Latinx, Hispanic, and other minority students on campus.
LHU's first year on campus comes during a critical time in politics for some Latinx students. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced on Tuesday the Trump administration will rescind the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. This program, referred to as DACA, allows young people brought to the United States illegally as children to remain in the country. People have been sharing their opinions on this controversial decision, including on Elon's campus. Both the Student Government Association and President Lambert have released statements speaking out against the action. In its statement, SGA said, quote, "At Elon, we value the contributions of DACA students to our university and firmly believe everyone deserves to obtain the education with the fundamental right of safety while doing so," end quote. In his statement, Lambert states he will work among other higher education and business leaders to craft new policies. To learn more about the Latinx Club and to find other clubs on campus, stop by the annual organization fair tomorrow. The org fair starts at 4 p.m. and lasts until 6 p.m. on Young Commons in front of Mosley. Elon News Network will have a table, so feel free to stop by and say hello.
And you've waited long enough. Korra Abdul will be in the studio performing coming up.
With the talented Korra Abdul, who is going to perform for us in just a minute. Korra, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So we understand that you're playing this week at Fat Frog. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the show is at 9 o'clock on Saturday. I'm opening for a band called Crossover Drive. They're fantastic. I saw them last May, and I'm lucky enough to perform with them on Saturday.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, we're
and
definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, do you have any more songs coming out or any performances we can look forward to?
So I've been working on a song this summer that should be coming out on Spotify soon. It's being mixed currently, so look out for that in the next month or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any meaning behind the song that you're going to sing today, or the song that you're going to sing at Fat Frogs?
So the song I'm singing today is "Oh Darling" by the Beatles. That song's me and my dad's song. We just grew up singing it together, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's really
it.
special. It's really, really
Awesome.
special.
We're excited to hear you.
Yeah, really excited.
For watching.
All right. Well, thanks again for being here with us. Make sure to check out Korra this weekend at the Fat Frog.
And Korra, you're going to play us out, but first, don't forget to check out our website, elonnewsnetwork.com, for all the news you need to know.
And of course, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Elon News Network.
And we'll be back on the studio on Monday night at 6 p.m. for Elon Local News. Take it away, Korra, all you.
Oh, darling, please believe me, I'll never do you no harm. Believe me when I tell you, I'll never do you no harm. Oh, darling, if you leave me, I'll never make it alone. Believe me when I tell you, don't ever leave me alone. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I nearly broke down and cried. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I nearly fell down and died. Oh, darling, if you leave me, I'll never let you down. Believe me when I tell you, I'll never do you no harm. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I nearly broke down and cried. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I nearly fell down and died. Oh, darling, if you leave me, I'll never make it alone. Believe me when I tell you, I'll never do you no harm. Thank you. Okay.